For those of you who only know Cliff as a myth, mogul, a figure pushing buttons in his gold-plated tower, tonight I would like to talk about the man. And I promise you it won't take long.
With all due respect to Alan King, the story of Cliff Perlman and his contributions to the gaming industry is not a short one. Cliff made many significant contributions and did it with a unique and memorable style.
I first met Cliff when I was interviewing for the position as Chief Financial Officer of Caesars World. I came over to Las Vegas to Caesars Palace and I went to his office. He was dressed in tennis attire. Found out later that's basically all he ever wore was tennis attire.
And they had a board meeting one day, and the board meeting broke up, and I ran into him when he was coming out, and he was dressed in his tennis clothes, and he had his racket, and he was on his way to play tennis with Pancho Gonzalez.
I could never forget you running through Caesar's Palace with shorts on and playing tennis, people thinking that you're an athlete and you're the CEO.
Cliff Perlman's life is the American dream. From humble beginnings, born in Philadelphia, and you can't get no humbler than Philadelphia, I'll tell you that.
Cliff was a decorated rifleman in the 86th Infantry Division and was awarded the Bronze Star. Following the war, Cliff attended the University of Miami, where he graduated with his law degree in 1951. With $10,000 they raised together, Cliff and his brother Stuart purchased a small Miami Beach beer bar called Lum's. Cliff says people liked the hot dogs they steamed in beer. It was 1956.
As a practicing attorney in Miami, he went into the hot dog business, which will give you an idea of what a law practice he must have had.
In 1966, their company was admitted to the New York Stock Exchange. When the brothers sold Lum's, the company boasted more than 400 stores across the country. A few years later, a friend told Cliff he could purchase Caesars Palace for $60 million. Cliff smelled a deal. It was 1966, and for the first time in Nevada history, a New York Stock Exchange company owned a casino. And shortly after taking over, Cliff Perlman began to revolutionize Las Vegas,
upholding the reputation of Las Vegas as the entertainment capital of the world.
Cliff is really the individual who created the whole entertainment buzz at Caesars.
This is your entertainment palace, and we offer something for everyone. The world-famous Circus Maximus showroom features the superstars of the entertainment galaxy.
The whole aspect of the star entertainment policies, from Frank Sinatra to Anne Margaret to Diana Ross, literally are the creation of Cliff Perlman.
But while the spotlights dimmed at the end of the stage, Cliff Perlman's imagination did not.
Welcome to the first annual Caesars Palace Grand Prix.
The events brought in by Cliff Perlman and the Caesars Palace team showcased Las Vegas at its finest. Celebrities, glamour, and excitement.
Superstar Tom Jones christens the track with a little help from Grand Prix Chairman Paul Newman.
I think it was a special time and a special idea because everything we did was televised. And it was televised not on pay-per-view, not on cable, it was televised on network television.
NBC has 15 television cameras around the circuit to cover the action today, and this race is being broadcast to over 100 million people in 40 countries around the world. Here with the official greeting is Clifford Perlman, Chairman of the Board of Caesars Palace.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the world of racing at Caesars Palace.
Tennis, anyone? Pancho Gonzalez is our resident professional, and five-time Wimbledon champion Bjorn Borg is our touring professional.
It wasn't Cliff's love for tennis as much as it was his shrewd insight that created one of the most successful branding events in the history of the Caesars Palace brand.
11 years ago, I came to Cliff and I asked for $50,000 to have the first major professional tournament in this town, and he gave me the money at prime rate.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and welcome to another big day of sports here on ABC. We're going to begin with live coverage of the Alan King Tennis Classic from Caesars Palace in Las Vegas.
The Alan King Tennis Classic became a decade-long tradition and the most popular tennis tournament in America, short of the U.S. Open. Without a doubt, Cliff Perlman struck gold when he linked Caesars Palace and boxing.
And of course, the fights were also carried all over the world.
But the man without imagination, he stands on the earth. He has no wings. he cannot fly. Cliff Perlman is soaring to heights hitherto unknown.
Cliff Perlman's bold moves with the sport of boxing cemented the resort's place as the home of champions.
When you talk about Caesar's Palace, when you talk about Las Vegas, when you say Las Vegas, you say Cliff Perlman.
In October 1969, Center Court was turned into Center Ring as the Caesars Tennis Pavilion hosted the first boxing event to take place on Caesars property, and Cliff Perlman was just getting started.
The biggest gates in history, the biggest crowds in history at a boxing match in a parking lot, keeping it humble, doing the Rudyard Kipling without any type of equivocation of dubiousness.
Larry Holmes.
But packing an even more powerful punch than these classic matchups in the ring were the indelible images they created of Caesars Palace and Las Vegas.
Oh, I'm pretty.
More than a quarter century later, modern Las Vegas resort companies still emulate Cliff's methods.
And I don't think Cliff owns a tie. But for the annual meeting, he decided he had to have a tie. So what he would do is he'd go around to our office and pick out the tie that he liked the best. So after a couple of years, we all realized, kind of wear an ugly tie that day, because he's not going to pick it.
Did he ever borrow your tie off of your neck?
No, he didn't, but I think one time he asked to use my jacket.
Cliff Perlman, I can't find enough adjectives to be able to talk about you in the way that you deserve to be talked about.
Man who brought his own taste to this hotel. Man who gave us fuchsia velvet walls, round beds, mirrors on the ceiling.
I think Cliff took what he did seriously, but he didn't take himself terribly seriously. And I think that's one of the endearing qualities of him.
He did what he hoped to do. Let's change the perception of Las Vegas. And I think through sports, you know, he came up with a genius of an idea that worked.
You are a great American, but more importantly, you are a great friend. And Don King loves you.
And he turned out to be the guy that had that vision, which is today, Vegas is the boxing capital of the world.
Let it go forth that Cliff Perlman, Mr. Las Vegas, is finally getting his due because they're doing themselves a favor, inducting you into the Hall of Gaming Fame.
I think people respected him. I know I did, learned a lot from him. And I think the industry owes him a great debt of gratitude.
America thanks you, Cliff.
Innkeeper supreme.
The people thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, Cliff Perlman.
Don King thanks you, Cliff. Only in America, the greatest nation in the world, and don't you ever forget it. And why is it so great? Because of people like Clifford Perlman.